Okay, everybody, so now we will start with 10.2, which is talking about reflection. So reflection, now it's basically mirroring the shape or drawing the shape, but flipped. This is like the easiest way I can say it. So for example, if I have like this, a line here, a line of mirror, and I have, for example, a triangle here, okay? So now this line here, consider it as a mirror. If I want to do reflection, that means I want to take this line to the other side flipped. It's imagine like this, you know what? I have this triangle here. I want to flip it to the other side. Now, a common mistake is that students will draw this triangle here like this. It's the same as it is. And they told me, Mr., like that's reflected. No, it's like you took this triangle here and shifted it, like you just moved it to the right. No, that's not the way we do reflection. That's translation, which we will take it like in later lesson. But now we'll talk about reflection. So I will reflect this triangle. So that means I will draw the opposite version of this triangle. So it will be something like this. Okay, so that means this triangle here is flipped like this. Another way, for example, another common shape that we will have reflected is that this shape here, for example, okay? So now if I have this shape like this, all right, now if I want to reflect it, okay, down, so that means I'm not going to draw it just like this. Okay, that's not reflection, that's translation. I just took it down. I have to draw it down, but I have to flip it. I have to flip it. That means I'm gonna look here. It's gonna be something like this. You know, that's what happens even in the mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror, the picture in the mirror is not actually you. It's you, but it's a flipped picture of you. You know, it's just a fancy way of thinking about reflection. Anyways, so now, we just have to know some basic knowledge. For example, we have two axes, right? We have X and Y. The horizontal one is called X. The vertical one is called Y. All right, now, yeah, that's pretty much it. So now, a common thing, like when we are doing reflection, is we have two methods. First method is just, I look at the shape, okay, and then I count the boxes that I have between the shape and the mirror line, and then I just draw the same shape but reflected. The other method is using points. Using the points is a slower method, but it's a more guarantee one. You know what? It always works. So before we talk about these two methods, let's see here. We have three shapes, and we have two of them mirrored wrong and one is mirrored right. So for example, this one, is it right? Is it reflected? Is it reflected? The green one, is this the reflection of the green one? Of course not. Why? Because this shape is just shifted to the right. Same thing here. If I want to draw the shape here with the mirror, so the green one, if I want to draw it as this one, it will be something like this. All right, so it will be something like this. All right, this will be the reflection shape of this shape here. Now this shape is reflected. As you can see, it's drawn to the other side, but it is also reflected. It's not like this one just shifted. So this one is the true reflection. These two are wrong. Now what they want us here, they're giving us the mirror line and they want us to draw the shape or the mirrored shape. So I'll keep tracing, like if I have this shape here, so that means it's going 3 to the right, that means I'm going to go 3 to the left. It's going 1 down, I'm going to go 1 down. It's going 1 to the right, I'm going 1 to the left. I'm trying to mirror the shape. That's what I'm trying to do. Now same thing here, I just noticed that I have one box between the shape and the red line. So I have between this shape, okay, and the mirror line. That means I will skip here one box, so I'm not gonna start from here. I'm not gonna draw the shape sticking to the red line because I have to leave one space. Okay, I have to leave one box. So that means I will leave one box here, all right, and I will start like that, all right, and then I will go mirror the shape. Same thing with this one. I have only one space here. That means I will have to go here one space. Same thing with this shape. I'm gonna draw it flipped. All right. All right, so now here in this question, they want the mirror line. The mirror line is between these two shapes, so it's gonna be here. Even if I have only one box, I do it right in the middle. I have this one's gonna be right in the middle, right in the middle. All right, now they ask us to, I'm gonna do A here as an example. So A, they want us to reflect the shape, do a reflection of shape A on the x equals 2. So where's x equals 2? I'm gonna go here, x equals 2. This is the line of x equals 2. That means I will flip, or I will reflect, or I will mirror A to the other side. Imagine like this, huh? I have x equals 2, which is this line here. Okay, so that means the shape is, okay, come on, stick, come on, let's just do it, okay? So I have here one on the right, so that means I'm gonna do it here on the left. If I have it like this, for example, so it's here on the top, that means I will do it on the bottom. So now, since now I'm talking about x equals 2, this is the line x equals 2, that means I will flip it to the right, like this. All right, now they want us also to reflect the same shape, which is A on y equals 3. So where's y equals 3? Here's y equals 3. Here's y equals 3. Here's the line, you can see, yeah? Y equals 3, okay? So y equals 3 is going to be this one. It's going to be this one. All right, so I have the horizontal one. It's going to be on the top. That means it's going to be on the bottom. So I'm going to draw the same shape, but reflected. Remember, it's not like this. I have to flip it. It's going to be flipped. Ask, for example, for the mirror line, same as they did here, here, but this time they want the kind of the equation for it. So, for example, here, if you can see, they want the mirror line or the reflection line between two shapes, and this line must be exactly in between. So, let me tell you, the first example here is between A and B. So here's A and here's B. They want the symmetry line. So the symmetry line will be, for example, someone will tell me here, right? But no, it's closer to A than it is to B. Maybe here. No, it's closer to B than A. So I must put the straight line in a place where it is exactly in the middle between the two shapes. So now it's gonna be here because it's gonna be 2 squares from A, 2 squares from B. That means it's here. And it is on X, right? It's on the X axis. So that means it's gonna be X equals minus 1. As you can see, x equals minus 1. So now let's go to the next one. I'll do it as an example. All right, so now we have B. B is A and D. So where's A? Here's A and here's D. I want the line exactly in the middle. So that means I can't put it right here up. It's going to be too close to A or too close to D. I'm going to put it here. Right here. Okay, so now it's 2 squares from A, 2 squares from D. Where does it cross? Crosses at Y. What's this axis? It's Y. Sorry, it crosses 1 and it is on the Y axis. That means this one will be Y equals 1. And you can do this for the rest of the shapes. Now we're going to move on to 10.3. We're quite on a rush, aren't we? So now we're doing rotation. Rotation basically means that I am rotating the shape. So now let's just link the information, okay? So first of all, we talked about congruency and enlargement. Congruency and enlargement. Congruency means the two shapes are similar to each other. Enlargement making it bigger or smaller with a scale factor, as we did here. Now in the second lesson, we're talking about reflection. Reflection means I do mirroring for the shape. And for 10.3, we're going to talk about rotation. So I'm going to rotate the shape. So now we have 3 or 4 turns that we can do to a shape. We have, first of all, quarter turn. We have also half turn. We have complete turn, and we have 3/4 turn. So let's take a look here. So I have 1/4, which we call a quarter turn. How do we why we're doing it 1/4 or a quarter turn? We imagine that we have here a circle, and I can cut it into 4 quarters, right? So that means if I'm rotating this much, I'm only rotating a quarter of a circle, which is 1 over 4. We also can say it is 90 degrees. Okay, now what about a half turn? Half turn is 180 degrees, and we can also know that from drawing the very same circle and knowing that we are going 2 quarters this time, like this much, and this angle is 180, right? So 180, 90. Now I want you to think about 180 as 2 90s. Now I will tell you why later. But now let's just stick to it, that we have 180 consists of 2 90s. Of course 90s consist of 190. Now we have the other one, which is 3 over 4, which is 3 quarters. So I have this circle like that. I can cut it into 4 quarters. Obviously I'm going how many? I'm going 3 quarters. So I guess you guessed the line, right? It's gonna go all the way, right? And this is like 270 degrees. By the way, we can see here that it is 92 90s from the 2 quarters. This is 190 and this is the other 90. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. I'm gonna clarify. So now in this one, can you guess how many 90s we have? Excellent, we have 3. So this is 190 and this is the other 90 and this is the third 90. So 90, 90, 90. So 270 consists of 3 90s. All right. Now, so we have 1 over 4, which is quarter turn. We have 1 over 2, which is a half turn. We have 3 over 4, which is 3 quarters turn. Now we also have the complete turn, which is 360. It's not very common, by the way. We don't use it a lot, so it's just 360, which is obviously consists of 4 90s. It's just, you should know that when we are rotating any shape 360 degrees, it will be the same. There will be no change. So see, for example, this ruler here, I'm gonna rotate it 360 degrees. It's exactly the same. But like on the other side, when I rotate it only 90 degrees, it will be different. 180 will be different. Even 270 will be different. But when I like rotate it 360, it will be exactly the same. Now I have 2 types of turns here. I have one which is called clockwise, and the other one which is called anti, or what do we call it here? So it is anti-clockwise, yeah, because I can say also counterclockwise. So I can say this is a clockwise and this is anti-clockwise. If you are familiar with a watch before, you see always the numbers, or always the clocks are always going from right to left, right, like this. So this is called clockwise, going with the direction. But the other one, like when we are doing it the opposite, we're doing anti-clockwise, we're doing the opposite. So now this all information here is just an introduction, and of course we need some of these, okay? Now it's, I don't know, what is it called? Is it butter paper, or I don't know really, but it is very good because it is transparent, and we will know why we will use it later. We're not gonna bake any cookies or anything, you know. Anyways, so now how do we use the knowledge that we have right now with this lesson? So let's talk about question 3 here, for example. So I'm gonna need a piece of that. All right. Like that. You're kidding me, right? Okay, so now this shape is doing 1 over 4. So what's 1 over 4? Quarter turn. That means how many degrees? 90 degrees. So that's the first information we have. Second of all, so it's 1 over 4 turn. I know it's 90 degrees, but is it clockwise or is it anti-clockwise? So it is clockwise. That means I'm gonna go to the right. So what do? I just have to take this paper here and literally trace the shape. Trace the shape like that. All right. All right. So now I have a copy here. You can see. So now what do is that I just hold the paper. Since I said clockwise, that means I'm going to right. Right. So that means I'm gonna do like this. That's it. So now I just have to draw the shape on the paper. With this, I just made a turn. Now let's take another example here. Okay, so okay, so I have the shape here, which is 1 over 2 turn. So 1 over 2, that means it is what? 1 over 2. It means it is 180 degrees. So how many 90s I'm gonna go? 2 90s. That's very important. Now, first of all, what do I do? So now, by the way, I'm just gonna tell you something here. When I say 180 degrees, it doesn't really matter. Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Because it's gonna give me the exact same shape. So for example, if I'm gonna do it like this, all right, that's gonna be the same as if I did it like this. What do I mean here is that if you rotate a shape 180 degrees, it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, because it's gonna be exactly the same. So I think that will be clear with a example here. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna trace over the shape. Yeah, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. All right. So now I have the shape, okay? Now I'm not gonna only turn it 90 degrees. I'm gonna turn it to 90 degrees. So that means, but mister, when do I know that I have a 90 degrees? Now look at your paper here. Look at your paper, okay? Look closely. So you have this line here, right? How do I know that I did a 90 degrees? When this line, if it's horizontal like that, it becomes vertical. That means I'm done with 90 degrees. Now it is vertical, right? If I made it horizontal, it's 90 degrees. It's horizontal. If I made it vertical, you see? So if it's horizontal, I made it vertical, 90 degrees. If it's vertical, I made it horizontal, it's 90 degrees. That's how you know that you are done with 90 degrees angle. So now we're here. So now I'm gonna flip it one time. So that's 90 degrees, and another time 90 degrees. And you can see we had exactly the same shape we started with. Now this is the first method. The second method is that we rotate with a center point. Now center point is a little bit tricky, I should say, because you're not allowed to just rotate it the way you want. You know, you have to rotate it from this center point. So I can use also the transparent paper to help me here, and let me just. Yeah, I'm not very organized, but anyways. So now, what do I have to do is I have to do these steps for me to have successful rotation and like rotation for the shape. First of all, I have to copy the shape. That's common. That's what we always do, Mr. Right? Yeah. That's the first shape. That's the first step. Now we also have to mark the X that we have. All right, good. Now what do I have to do? I have to flip my paper to the other side. I'm flipping it. So now I'm done. As you can see, I have my X, I have my square. Now I have to flip it and also trace again. Okay? So now I have it from here, and I have my X. Now I do it like this. All right. And I put the pencil exactly on my X. Before that, how much do we have? 180 degrees. 180 degrees. As you can see, 180 degrees, 2 90s. And they can say 180, they can say 1/2, which is half turn. They can say 2/4, by the way, already, no problem. So now I have it here. So now I'm gonna do it like this. Make sure that you're pressing here with the tip. And then I'm gonna move the paper. As you can see, I can move it freely. So now I'm gonna go 2 90s because it's 180. So this is 1 and this is 2. Now I just like press hard on my paper and then I just trace back again. You see magic. Magic is happening. And you can see it's copying on my paper, and I am done with that. Now let's do the shape here, for example. I don't have pre-solution. Okay, I think I'm about to run out of transparent paper. This is not the best. Whatever. Anyway, so now mark the shape, trace the shape. Don't forget to do the X. Don't forget to flip the paper and mark the shape again. Don't go so hard. Now, how much do they want? 270. Now, this one is kind of a tricky little bit, huh? So it is 270 degrees, right? How many 90s? 3 90s. Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? It is anti-clockwise. That means I'm gonna go to the left, right? I don't know if you can see it, but it is 270, 3 90s, and anti-clockwise. Okay, so that means I'm gonna go like that. All right, so now I will press my pencil like that, press the tip like this, and I'm gonna go 190 like this, and another 90 like this, and another 90 like this, like hold my paper very good. It is copying. Magic, I told you. All right, so now that's basically the idea behind it. Now the last lesson, which is 10.4, now I don't need transparent paper anymore. So this really is kind of an like easy lesson. So I want you to focus here with exercise number 2. So for me to find translation, what's the meaning of translation? Translation means moving the shape, just moving it. So for example, if I moved this ruler from here to here, that's called translation. Now let's do a revision here on the unit. So first of all, we talked about congruency. Congruency is the shape the same as another shape. After congruency, we talked about what did we talk about? 10.1. Enlargements. Enlargement means basically making the shape bigger or smaller. After that, we talked about reflection. Reflection means doing a mirror for the shape. After that, we talked about rotation. Rotation basically means rotating the shape. And now we're going to talk about translation, which means moving the shape from one place to another. If I moved it, that means translation. And of course, we describe translation with only 4 words: up, down, left, and right. And we'll see here together. So here I have the shaded shape, and here I have where it's supposed to be. So now how do I know what happened here? A lot of students say, okay, from this shape to here, it's only one. That means it's one up. No, it's not like that. I have to mark 2 points that are the same. Those are called reference points. So for example, I want to mark this point, and now if you look at this shape, where's the same point in this shape? Is it this one? No, it's obviously here on the left, right? So it is this one. Now I measure the distance between these 2 reference points. So that it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means it is 4 up. All right, what about the shape here? Okay, I'm gonna mark my reference point here. I'm not gonna make it here because this point and this point aren't the same. But for example, mister, I want this point and I want this point. All right. Okay, that means you have to take this point. So it has to be the same point in the same shape. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it's gonna be 4, 4. And as you can see, we went to the left. What about this one here? Reference point. This one? Nuh-uh. This one. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 down. And for example, C, reference point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11, and I'm going to the right. That means 11. Right. This is probably the easiest lesson. Now, in this shape here, we're only having one word. Yani, for example, we're having only up, down, left, or right. I might have 2 words. Yani, I'm not gonna have three words. Yani, I can't have a translation with up, right, down, left. No. So we only have one word, which is like this, or we're gonna have 2 words. say here, for example, in question 3, I have A to B. So A to B, it will be only one word, as I remember. So it's going to be from A to B. Reference point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to the right. Now what about A to C? Now let's take someone with left and right and 2 words more. So I'm going to take G here. A to H. So this is A and this is H. Mark your reference point with A and H. So I'm going to take here the point that it's down and on the left, and in H I must take the point down and on the left. So now I have the same reference point. So I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 3 to the right. This one will be 3 right. But then I must also do up, right? So I must go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 up, right? Okay, so I'm gonna be 3 right, 4 up, 3 right, 4 up, as you can see. So is it okay if I do it 4 up, 3 right? Yeah, it is okay. So I can write 3 right, 4 up, or 4 up, 3 right. And with this, Unit 10 is done. Good luck.